For years, Muslim apologists have been desperate to find Muhammad in the Bible.
Why would they do that?
Because the Quran says in Surah 7:157,
those who follow the messenger, the Gentile prophet,
some translators will translate it, unlettered prophet,
whom they will find described for them in the Torah and the Gospel.
So allegedly, Muhammad is mentioned in the Christian and Jewish scriptures. And these same Muslims claim the scriptures are corrupted. But
Whatever.
Zakir Naik is one of these Muslim preachers who cite verses from the Bible claiming they are speaking of Muhammad, and sometimes it backfires hard on Muhammad. This is Zakir Naik speaking to an ignorant people as usual, who never bothers to research whatever he says.
It's further mentioned in the Old Testament, in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 29, verse number 12. It says, "The book will be given to him who's not learned, and it will be said, 'Pray, read this,' and he will say, 'I am not learned.'" And this is exactly what happened when the first revelation came to the last and final messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So according to Zakir Naik, Isaiah 29:12 is about Muhammad because it speaks of someone who is not learned giving a book to read. In fact, this is really funny to me. What happens when we read the verses before and after to find the full context? Let's read from verse 1 to 3.
Isaiah 29, 1 to 3. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add ye year to year, let them kill sacrifices. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel. And I will camp against thee round about, and will lay siege against thee with the mount, and I will raise forts against thee.
So the beginning of this chapter shows us the Lord is raining judgment on the city of Ariel, which was the city of David. When we read verse 9, we see why God is going to punish this city.
Verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink.
So basically, these people are hypocrites. And watch what God did to their hypocrite prophets.
Verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and had closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers had he covered.
So God has basically blinded these false prophets and seers. And now what would their visions be like? Verse 11 and 12, which Zakir Naik quoted, answers it.
And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned.
Even if we grant that this is about a prophet, we have one who is learned, and we have one who is not learned. So who is that prophet who is learned? You see how this doesn't make sense with your narrative, Muslims? If you have been listening carefully up to this point, does this look like a prophecy about some illiterate prophet giving a book to read? We have seen that God blinded these false prophets spiritually, and because of that, their vision will be unto them like the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to someone who is learned to read, and he says he cannot read because it's sealed. And that same book is also delivered to someone who is not learned, and he will also say he cannot read because he is not learned. These are how the visions of the false prophets would be like, and this is what Zakir Naik is claiming is a prophecy of Muhammad.
I am not learned.
Yeah, I know, Zakora, because if you read the next verse, you would know why the visions of these prophets would be like that.
Verse 13. Wherefore the Lord said, For as much as these people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the percept of men.
So just as we said earlier, these are hypocrites who claims they honor God, but their heart is far from him, which is a typical characteristic of a false prophet. So if Zakir Naik says,
There when the first revelation was brought by Archangel Gabriel, and he said, Ikra. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ma ana biqari, I am not learned. This is exactly the fulfillment of the prophecy mentioned in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 29, verse number 12, that when the book will be given to him who is not learned, and it will be said, Pray, read this, he will say, I am not learned. And this is exactly what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said.
Then Zakir Naik just called Muhammad a false prophet, because the verse isn't even about a prophecy of some prophet, but rather what God will cause the visions of the false prophets to be like. Question: what happens when you take a verse out of context to fit your narrative? You end up calling your own prophet false, like Zakir Naik just did. Stay away from the lies of Islam.